She was shot and killed by ICE agents Wednesday in a snowy residential neighborhood in Minneapolis in front of a family member.
America, a 37-year-old mother named Renee Nicole Good is dead in Minneapolis after driving her car at federal ICE agents. But here's what the media won't tell you. She wasn't protecting her family. She wasn't defending her home. She spent her day aggregating federal officers who were conducting immigration enforcement. Now her child grows up without a mother because anti-ICE propaganda convinced her to throw her life away for strangers who wouldn't even do the same for her.
Protests continue this morning. This after a woman was shot and killed by an ICE agent in Minneapolis, and it is getting contentious this morning with chemical irritants being sprayed at protesters.
What is up, guys? Tyson DeLaCruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This is what happens when Democrat politicians and media turn immigration enforcement into a death cult where people literally sacrifice their lives and their family for political theater. Let me break down what actually happened here because the lamestream media is lying to you about every single detail here. Renee Nicole Good spent her entire day on January 8th aggregating federal officers, not protecting anybody, not defending her community, not trying to help the homeless, not trying to stop violent shootings that are happening in Minnesota through Somalia gangs, just aggregating to aggregate. Here's what we know. At the time, ICE agents were not conducting an immigration operation at that moment. They were helping another vehicle that was stuck in the snow. But Good decided to interfere, allegedly driving her vehicle towards an armed federal officer. Now she's dead. She left behind a wife and a child. Yes, I said a wife and a child. For what? For political theater based on lies from MSNBC, MSDNC, CNN, that fed her every single day.
A lot of these protesters continuing to yell at these agents and tell them to leave Minnesota.
Look at the rage. These people are so programmed by anti-ICE propaganda. They can't even think rational anymore. They're defending people they know nothing about while attacking federal agents just trying to do their job. And here's my question. Why was she even there in the first place? Exactly. What compelled a mother to leave her child and spend her day harassing federal law enforcement? I'll tell you what. I'll tell you something here. It is apparent to me that she had no masculine figure in her life to tell her that this was absolutely insane. Apparently, her wife is not masculine enough. Just maybe if she had somebody with the courage to say, "What the are you doing? Your child needs you alive." This tragedy, perhaps, could have been prevented. But that's not how the radical left operates. They encourage this type of reckless behavior. Like, hey, let me get pepper sprayed. I want to get pepper sprayed. They celebrate it. They turn foolish activism into theater. I'm going to tell you guys something here that's going to blow your mind. You can take one look at that bullet hole on the windshield and identify exactly where the ICE agent was standing when the shots were fired. The trajectory, the angle, the impact point, it tells a very compelling story that completely contradicts the lamestream media narrative.
In this disturbing video, Good behind the wheel of this maroon Honda SUV in the street, appearing to block the road. Federal agents shouting demands, an ICE agent grabbing the door. She backs up and puts the vehicle in drive. Then, an agent standing in front of her firing multiple rounds, including through the windshield. From this other angle, you can see the officer in front of the SUV. As the car turns away and moves forward, shots fired.
Look at that footage carefully. The agent is standing directly in front of the vehicle. She slightly backs up, then puts the car in drive, and then moves forward towards him. That's when he fired shots. This isn't murder. It is self-defense against a vehicle being used as a weapon. The wheels here are spinning pretty fast. The Trump administration got this exactly right. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem said the agent feared for his life and the shooting was justified, which I can agree with. Because here's the reality that Democrats don't want you to understand. A car is a deadly weapon. When you drive a 4,000 plus pound vehicle at a federal agent, any officer for that matter, you're attempting to kill or cause some serious bodily harm. This is textbook self-defense, but the media is calling it an execution, a murder. These are the words that they're using. They're lying to you, and they know that they're lying to you. Here's what the lamestream media refuses to report. ICE agents face violent attacks constantly. constantly. Just 6 months ago, an ICE agent was dragged more than 300 feet by a vehicle during an arrest. He needed 33 stitches. He almost died. That agent, he's the same one involved in this Minneapolis shooting. Think about that for a second, guys. This man was nearly killed doing his job 6 months ago, and now he's being attacked again by somebody using a vehicle as a weapon. You think maybe, just maybe, he's a little sensitive about cars being driven at him?
And it was all caught on camera. According to a federal complaint, agents were executing a warrant for 39-year-old Roberto Carlos Munoz. They say Munoz entered the country unlawfully, and he also pled guilty to fourth-degree criminal sexual conduct back in 2023 for abusing a minor. Tuesday morning, agents pulled him over. Court documents say he repeatedly refused to comply. In this video, you can see the driver take off with the agent hanging from the car, dragging him 300 feet.
Look at that. That is attempted murder. The agent was hospitalized with significant injuries, and the person who did this, you guessed it, an illegal hombre, an illegal immigrant convicted of sexually assaulting a minor who had been released in Minnesota under Governor Tim Walz's sanctuary policies. So let me connect the dots for you. Minnesota releases a child rapist instead of turning him over to deportation. That criminal tries to kill an ICE agent. 6 months later, that same agent defends himself when somebody else drives a car at him. And now all of a sudden, Democrats are calling him a murderer. This is the insanity. ICE agents are doing their job correctly. They're enforcing federal law while facing constant threats of violence from criminals and brainwashed white activists. Now check this out. Vice President J.D. Vance absolutely demolished the lamestream media's false narrative about the shooting. And this is one of the most powerful moments that I've ever seen from this administration.
Everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Every single one of you.
That's the righteous anger we need from our leaders. Vance is calling out every single person in the media who's lying about this particular case.
What that headline leaves out is the fact that that very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile?
Exactly. I'm seeing it over and over and over again. The media headlines say ICE officer killed U.S. citizen, but they conveniently leave out that this agent nearly had his life ended 6 months ago when he was dragged by a car. They leave out that he needed 33 stitches in his leg.
What that headline leaves out is that that woman was there to interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation in the United States of America. What that headline leaves out is that that woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job.
This is the key point that nobody's talking about. Renee Good wasn't some random person who happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. She was part of a broader left-wing network. This is an organization. This is all coordinated. This is domestic terrorism using propaganda techniques. We've heard this before. This is what we call the woke mind virus. When propaganda becomes so toxic, when people literally sacrifice their life and families for quote unquote political points. Renee Good didn't die protecting her child. She died because Democrat politicians convinced her that ICE agents are the enemy. Think about the insanity of this particular situation. She is a wife to a wife and a mother. She had responsibilities. She had people who depended on her, but she chose to spend her day harassing federal agents who were helping somebody stuck in a car. This is mainly rhetoric gone completely off the rails. The left has created an entire environment where interfering with federal law enforcement is seen as heroic, where attacking ICE agents is celebrated, where dying for illegal immigrants you don't even know is considered noble. It's complete trash.
But it's still really scary to see our friends and teachers get tear gassed.
These kids are terrified of ICE agents, not because ICE did anything to them, because they've been brainwashed to believe that immigration enforcement is evil. This is what propaganda does. It creates irrational fear and hatred towards people who are just enforcing the law. And I'm going to hit a homer with this harsh reality. The people that Renee Good was defending wouldn't do the same for her. You don't see Somalia communities in Minneapolis organizing to defend white Americans. You don't see illegal immigrants putting their lives on the line for U.S. citizens. This is a one-way street of misplaced loyalty. Now let's talk about the political leadership that created this disaster. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz has been one of the most vocal critics of ICE enforcement, and his rhetoric is directly responsible for creating this hostile environment that got Renee Good killed.
I've not used inflammatory terms of what happened.
Well, I said this yesterday. We've never been at war with our federal government.
Let's check the receipts.
When things looked really bleak, it was Minnesota's first that held that line for the nation on that July 3rd, 1863. And I think now we may be in that moment that the nation's looking to us to hold the line on democracy.
This guy is comparing ICE enforcement to the Battle of Gettysburg. He's telling Minnesotans that they have to hold the line against federal government. That's not inflammatory. That's not creating a war mentality. This is what Timmy Tampon's rhetoric produces. Violence. We saw that with the George Floyd. Chaos. Dead Americans. He created an environment where people think attacking ICE agents is patriotic, when interfering with law enforcement is quote unquote heroic, where dying for illegal immigrants is noble. Renee Good made a choice. She chose strangers over her child. Think about that. She chose political theater over parental responsibility. Think about that. She chose to aggregate federal agents instead of being there for her family. And for what? What did her death accomplish? Did it help a single person? Did it change any policies? Did it protect anyone? No, it was a senseless waste of life caused by political manipulation. Your first responsibility is to your children, not to strangers who broke our immigration law. No political cause is worth orphaning your child. This is basic common sense, you guys, that the radical left seems to have completely abandoned. America, we're watching propaganda literally kill people. When government officials and media convinces citizens that ICE agents are the enemy, when they turn immigration enforcement into a moral crisis, when they celebrate interference with federal law enforcement, people die. The pattern here is crystal clear. Democrat politicians create sanctuary policies that protect criminals. Those criminals attack ICE agents. When agents defend themselves, Democrats call them murderers. Meanwhile, American citizens like Renee Good get brainwashed into sacrificing their life for people who don't give a damn about them.
You people in the media, not everybody in this room, but many people in this room have been lying about this attack. She was trying to ram this guy with her car. He shot back. He defended himself.
The Constitution protects federal agents doing their job. ICE has the legal authority to enforce immigration law. When you interfere with that enforcement, when you drive a car at an armed agent, you're going to face the consequences. That's not justice. That is reality. Liberals, stop being martyrs for politicians that don't give a crap about you. Literally, they do not care about you. Stop defending criminals while attacking law enforcement. Stop putting political activism above your freaking family. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.